Today, we are going to make some grass. No, I'm not in Colorado, so it's not going to be that kind of grass. It's our techniques that are so simple and sensible, your models have practically built themselves. Hello folks, it's Mad Dog Merv coming to you today from a little bit different angle. I'm working on the train layout for October, and well, everything's a mess right now because I've got so much torn up and so much new stuff going in. I would really like to have some ghosts. I've got some other figures that we'll show you that I'm putting on my layout that I've custom built, but I'd really like some ghosts. And I've got this one. Let me show him to you. Came from the Addams Family house, or I can't remember what they call it now. Not Addams Family. The house on the hill. Oh heck, I can't remember what it's called for licensing's sake. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to make a resin copy of this. So stick with us as we get into this. Last year I wasn't able to find any real ghosts to put on my train layout, and this year I vowed to change that. Last year I just took some luminescent paint, yellow paint, and I painted these just some random figures, and they glowed very nicely in the dark, in the black light, as you can see. They looked really cool, but they were just regular people type figures, which is probably okay for a ghost. But I wanted something more traditional, something like this, and I couldn't find anything online. There's a set somewhere by Knock or somebody like that has kind of sort of a little ghost in it, like a kid dressed up in a Halloween costume, but I really wanted something different. And I found this it's called the Old Victorian House by Polar Lights. It's the old Addams Family house. So I wanted to go ahead and make several copies of this. I figured maybe I could sell some online because nobody really has them. So I'm going to need to make a bunch of them. To do that, I could buy some RTV and make the molds that way. Spend $30 on some RTV, or I could try this new method and with some materials I already have at the house. So we're going to try this out. I'm going to use some 100% silicone, not the acrylic caulk, because I tried that and it just melts away in the water. This is 100% silicone caulking, and so I'm going to use that. I'm going to get a bowl with some water and some dish soap and watch what we do. So here I'm using a small bottle of Palmolive that I have, and I've already watered it down just a little bit, but I'm going to use quite a bit of this dish soap, and as far as I know, any dish soap will work. I'm just using this Palmolive that I had. And then I'm using this container with just water to you can see, I got a lot of soap in there. In fact, almost 50-50 soap and water. I'm not putting a great big bowl together, just this half of this cereal bowl, really. And well, I tried to use my my silicone in the caulking gun, and it exploded out the back. And so I'm going to save that part for you. We're just going to go ahead and take it out and scoop it out here with the screwdriver. And notice I don't have gloves on, and there's a reason for this. So I've put, well, you see how much roughly I put in there. I can't tell you what that is, quarter of a cup maybe. Anyway, it's all covered with the soap and the water. Now, what I'm going to do is, I don't understand it. I just know what I was told, and that is that the soap, the dishwashing detergent, first of all, acts as a barrier so that this doesn't stick to your fingers, which it's really cool how that works. But also, I need to knead the soap into the silicone, and that's, from what I'm told again, it acts as a catalyst, causing it to dry quicker. Because if you have ever used the silicone sealer, you'll put it on something, and if you put it on really thick down towards the middle, it's still soft and squishy and raw, basically. So this catalyzes it, which is really kind of cool. So I'm going to mix it up really good together. And then what I'll do is I'll pick it up here and I will start kneading it. And then I'll put it back in, because I want to make sure that I've got it mixed in really good with the soapy solution. So obviously this isn't going to give you the kind of detail that an RTV would give you. So there's certain things you probably don't want to cast this way. But for this little ghost, and there's a lot of other things that I could cast using this, I'm sure it's going to be just fine. We'll find out the results here in just a little while. But you see how long I'm spending kneading this and mixing it around. I want to make sure that it's good and thoroughly mixed. So now it's time to take it out and kind of roll it into a ball, flatten it out a little bit, get a shape that I can use. We're going to put it on this box, my orange Halloween lights, and I'm going to form it into kind of a square shape. I really don't need to make a mold box like I would with RTV, which is kind of cool. This stuff is, it feels like putty at this point. And you can see it's not all over my hands. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my ghost and I'm going to push him down in there. Most of the way, I'm going to leave a little bit of his back sticking out, but not much. And what I did is I went ahead and I made one, obviously. And I made several casts of him. And you can see here, now I'm putting these casts in there so that I can make like 6 at a time. So that's how you go from making 1 to making 6. The reproductions aren't quite as good of a quality as the original, but they're close. They're really close. So we're going to push them down in there, and I let this dry for about an hour or so is how much time I gave it. And it worked out really good. I was able to pop them right out of there with you use the edge of my hobby knife, popped them right out. Went ahead and mixed up some of my resin. I used the Alumilite 2-part resin and put it in the void. You can see there, this is about an hour later. And this is the results I got. I pulled them out, and these I've painted with kind of a luminescent color paint. Actually, what this is, I took some flat Mod Podge and I mixed some white acrylic paint in it, just some craft paint, and then I took a little bit of some fluorescent yellow that I had, fluorescent yellow craft paint, and just dropped a little bit of that in there. I wanted this to be able to glow under the black light. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, here are some that I just painted with the white craft paint and the Mod Podge mixed together. And the reason I mixed that together, I wanted it to be a lot thicker, because you try and paint white on pretty much anything, even primed. And if you prime this, of course, you're going to get another layer of paint. Anyway, I went ahead and brush painted that on, and the white turned out pretty good. Obviously, it's not going to brush painted that on and let it dry. So here's the results in my black light. You can see these little luminescent rocks I've got. They look great. That fluorescent yellow paint, you can see the figures that I had painted last year there. On the right are the ones that I had added a little bit of that yellow fluorescent paint, and on the left are the ones that are just painted white. So you can see there's just a little bit of a glow, but not enough. So I've got to find a better luminescent paint. And here's some of my ghosts with the other Halloween characters that I have put together for the layout. So hope this was helpful. Hope you learned a little bit from this, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about how to make these kind of molds.